Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all my friends around the globe. This is Joe Soro. You are watching The Experiment on a Friday evening in the West Coast area of the United States and a few areas out there that are still Friday and some on Saturday. Welcome to the show. If this is the first time you're watching the show, please click on the subscribe button, like, share, notify yourself because this show, while it won't be the first time you will hear controversial comments, I feel like we're very entertaining in doing it and maybe a little bit different than what most shows are out there. But again, that's going to be something that you're going to have to judge and assess. But I don't know if you guys noticed, but the color tonight for the first time, because usually it's either red or blue, is purple, which is of course the combination of, yes, the red and the blue. The red and the blue make purple. So I was able to combine my colors. Because remember, guys, my alma mater is San Diego State University, and they're black and gold. I'm sorry, black and red. Black and red. So the red and the blue, blue being the Dodgers, make purple Lakers. So tonight's show is going to be an all LA, all Southern California uh, discussion. And we're going to get to some topics here that obviously most of you know what's going on in Lakerland now. There's been some reorganizing, and I'm putting that mildly. And in also LA, the Dodgers are still sort of contemplating on whether they're going to be chaperoning the Lakers' current management, as well as balancing what baseball fans are waiting on, which is what kind of talent are you guys going to go after? Now, in baseball, the the uh, the process takes a little bit longer than it does in the NFL and NBA. There are guys that'll sign sometimes after the new year. And even Otani, when he signed, he didn't sign until December. So imagine there's a season that ends November and then parts of December. I mean, that doesn't happen in the NBA. Usually a big name, let's say July 1 or July 10, whatever the date is, usually when it's official, it's usually right out of the gate. So in baseball, obviously it's different, but I think the topic right now is more kind of geared towards uh, Mark Walter and the Guggenheims have officially kind of started the path in reorganizing the current management. There's a lot of drama behind it. We had an LFB about it yesterday with Gerald on Lakers Fast Break, and for me, I know that it's juicy news, especially considering there's not a lot of stuff going on right now. Even with the NBA kind of doing some good things right now, I guess the ratings the first month were pretty good. It's still more that gossip, high school drama stuff that people seem to be tailored to. I'm not that way. I don't really care. This is all stuff that's already written that's going to happen. So it's not. It shouldn't be a surprise. So the drama behind it just doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm going to get to your guys' comments early tonight. If you guys want to continue the dialogue, I will. There are possible guests that might show up, so we'll wait to see how that turns out. But in the meantime, I'll get to you guys right away, and then we can kind of converse and see what. Now that the Lakers and the Dodgers have the same boss, this is going to be pretty interesting considering for Farhan and Andrew Friedman are apparently advisors for Rob Pelinka and Lakers management. I being the cynic that I am sometimes, I'm trying to figure out what the point of that is. And again, I'm saying that in a rhetorical way. I'm asking that in a rhetorical way. What exactly is that advisory role? Is it Andrew and Farhan telling Rob Pelinka and Kurt Rambis and Jeannie, hey, look, we're gonna need you to come in on Sunday. Is that what it's gonna be? I wouldn't mind being a fly on the wall on that one. I would love to see how that conversation goes. I'm sure there's a lot of respect there. Mark Walter seems to get along with Jeannie Buss, but some of us wise cracks, wise asses are always imagining things that usually don't happen. But it would be kind of fun if it was. So I'm going to get to you guys' comments and we'll start conversing here, guys. Again, ask any questions you want. For those who, again, are here for the first time, please, and we're live, obviously, please ask any questions you want. There's a little bit more tolerance on my show than most shows. That's probably the other good thing about the show. But please keep stupid comments away and keep redundant stupid comments away. Otherwise, I get bored and I'll send the dogs on you. And again, no bad stuff. If you want to ask crazy stuff, original stuff, that's fine too. Again, we're here to have fun, and that's what we're going to do now. So we'll get to the comments as we speak. Joe, hey, Tough, how you doing, bud? Good to have you here. Craig, as always, thank you for being here. Quabina, yeah, that's right, and replace Rob Snake Butt too. Rock Snake Butt. That's a pretty good. That kind of flows, doesn't it? I kind of like that. Snake Butt. This is going to be Super United Multi-Sports Organization. I cannot disagree on that one, Quabina. I'm actually, even though it's not my business, we've had such good things happen since Mark Walter has come into our life as Dodger fans that we want more, right? So as of right now, Mark Walter owns the Dodgers, owns Dodger Stadium. I think the only part he doesn't own, and I don't know the specifics of this, but Frank McCourt still manages the parking lot in some capacity. And I don't usually like to talk about it, but it's there. And maybe it was just one of those throw the guy a bone to get him out of here type thing, and that's fine by me. I don't care. I'm sure if they don't care, I don't care either. But I'm going to be curious on if Mark Walter and the Guggenheims are going to purchase the arena, the Crypto.com arena, and the land. I'm wondering if AEG is still or has spoken about that. I haven't heard any news, not even a tidbit on it. I would like to see them buy that out because I do believe that, and I've been to downtown LA a few times, not as much as I used to, but the last few times I've gone there, I feel like the neighborhood's kind of, it almost looks like it's getting old. And I think if Mark Walter had a say in maybe doing some renovations over there, I would like to think that they would kind of get the surrounding areas cleaned out as well, because I think it lost a little bit of its new car smell. Even though the new car smell lasted a long time, I feel like it's starting to get run down like an Oakland Coliseum and Oakland type thing. I don't think that shouldn't happen when you got LA Live and you got nice hotels there, and of course it's ruined by urine smelling freaking parking lots and idiots who have graffitied the buildings around them. So Mark Walter, whatever you can do, man, get a hold of that area, man. Get that thing in your belt as well, or in your pocket as well, so we can see if we can rejuvenate that area, because it's a beautiful area when it's clean. When it's not clean, it's like, well, what's the point? But I guess that's how I feel about it. Oh, that was quick.
Well, I just wanted to. I told you I'd stop by here. It's halftime, so I got to leave in a little bit. But being Hawaii, Ninth Island bra. That's what they're filing for as far as the golden pineapple bra. So right now it's 24.
Is it bra or brother?
No, you can say brother, but
what
bra.
Up, brother?
Whenever I go to the islands and I get something, it's here you go, bra. So yeah,
it's bra now.
Yeah, it's bra. Just if you go around saying bra or brother, you're good.
Well, I have a Hawaiian neighbor, very, very nice man. He's a Sin Blades client too, and it's always brother. What's up, brother? What are you doing tonight, brother? And he's every bit Hawaiian, and he is
or to the ladies, sister.
See, I don't know any Hawaiian women, unless of course it's his wife, of course.
But it's halftime right now. But I just wanted to clarify something that you were talking about, because I've been listening in. Don't say I haven't. I wanted to say Farhan Zaidi is the one that's taken the main point on this, Joe. He has been tasked as helping with the transition, but he is a specialist. His background in analytics. So he'll be bringing more of an analytical structure to the organization. But Also, he is the main guy as far as Mark Walters' representative in this transition over to whatever the front office or the organization will be as a whole. Friedman is just going to be an advisor to Rob Pelinka directly, a successful GM to a okay GM, and to let him know exactly what he's maybe doing wrong or better approaches, things of that nature. But Zaidi is the one that's really we got to focus in on, Joe, because he's the main point man on this transition. Oh, by the way, nice pillow here from Drip Show. What's up, Drip?
Very nice, very nice. I've been doing some renovating inside the office here. You might start seeing some things on the wall here shortly. The main studio is still in its last. Actually, it's operational, but the thing is, it's in San Diego. But I will be getting there soon. I will be doing a show out of there soon. So we'll talk more about that as the holidays finish up. But anyways, the advisory role, in the way you put it, makes more sense. I didn't know how that was going to be tallied. My first instincts were Andrew Friedman is focused on putting some finishing touches on a possible three-peat here for the LA Dodgers. Why does he? What time does he have to advise a couple of dinks like Jeannie and Rob Pelinka? But
apparently a lot, my friend. Apparently,
but again,
a lot.
it might be the transition of everything, hopefully, and then hopefully a transition out. I've been pretty. I don't know why. I've been like this, other than just from instinct. And I had one of my really good virtual friends on Lakers Ball who kind of, I don't know. He said something to me in a post today that he's one of those guys that's positive all the time. And I make jokes about it, but I told him today, I said, your positivity is actually the right way to go. You live a much better life being that way. Me, I'm not like that. I actually flourish in misery and disaster just because I can handle it. Most people can't. They need to go have coffee five times a day. They got to go have drinks. They got to go talk to a fucking shrink. They got to go cry about things with people around. I don't know. I don't do any of that shit. I don't drink coffee. I drink when I'm in a social environment. I don't drink to forget. And of course, I don't, my circles are pretty damn tight. And those who are in this circle are obviously people who have mutual respect, right? So the key here is, I think my earnest to be out of this Genie Bus Rob Pelinka existence is at its all-time high. I'm excited that Mark Walter is finally here. And you hear that Andrew Friedman is an advisor and Ferran is in there and all that. I'm like, it's like it just feeds the urge to keep it like, okay, now just go, and I'm excited. I'm excited to hear about things like that. I'm excited to find out recently that this 15-game stretch that Luka Doncic has had is the best 15-game stretch he's had in his career. And then you see LeBron James getting excited after a and one three-point shot by Austin Reeves, and the guys are 11-4, and you see how the role players are kind of excited about the season, whether it's Rui, whether it's Marcus Smart, doesn't matter who it is. Like, the team looks very content, and it's building that chemistry even more and more with their familiarity with everybody. And this is, mind you, this is with a team that's only played together for what, one game, one and a half games, if that, right? Yeah. So imagine what it's going to be in a month. Imagine where management will be in a month, in 2 months, in 3 months. It's very exciting. It's very exciting, especially coming off the first back-to-back championship in Dodger history. As storied as this franchise is, this franchise has been in the World Series 24 times. They've won 9 of them. They have been around since 1884. This is other than the Yankees, in my view, and I'll throw in St. Louis in there, these are the 3, right? Like St. Louis Cardinals, Yankees, and it's Dodgers. It's those 3. It's a pretty damn good to be around in our primes, witnessing the blue era, the golden era is what they're calling, right? The golden age. It's not the golden age. It's the blue age, the Dodger blue age. And we're not even in the middle of it yet. And then you add the fact that the leader of that whole thing is now in charge of the LA Lakers. It is exciting, but it also comes with some venom because of the impatience that's still settling, right? So that's kind of where I'm sitting on that. But again, I'm excited. If I sound like I'm being mean, I am. It's just I'm excited about the next phase, and I want to get to it as quickly as possible.
Well, again, just the timing is just as far as the Bus brothers being removed. It's kind of weird because, again, I didn't know that they were the 2 that voted against the sale, but seeing how they voted against the sale, they just pretty much wrote their death warrant right there. But why did they start the season? If that's my question, is why were they allowed to start the season, or at least the college basketball season, when basketball scouting really begins, and the whole entire scouting department, let go? That is still a little bit perplexing in regards to the timing of it. There must have been some type of falling out, but again, the Bus brothers, once they made those votes against the sale, they sealed any their death warrant and any chance of them staying on past the sale of the team. So yeah, it's just, again, it's still a team in a little bit of disarray, but again, with Mark Walter sending 2 of his top guys in to advise the team, especially Zaidi, as far as being able to go ahead and seeing things from an analytical perspective, which that I really, really approve of, and would like that, instead of just going by the feels or going by the nepotism that this organization has done. Is, oh, he's a former Laker. Oh yeah, that's what we got to hire him, Joe. We got to trade for him. Oh yeah, he's a former Laker. No, you have to do it based off of what best statistical analysis is provided to you and available. So it gives you the best probability, or the highest probability and chance to win long term. And that's exactly what I'm looking at. And that's why the Zaidi, to me, is the biggest part of this equation, because the fact he's going to see things in the best format possible for this organization, as far as in black and white, and not go off the feels, but go off of exactly in numbers, exactly what the numbers say, and go accordingly to there. It might be more cold firings, more cold terminations, players being traded that maybe we love and latch on to, that will be true. But again, it's all for the best, because again, the Lakers, with these 2 guys coming in there as advisors and responsible for this transition, will actually see these changes as far as best for the team long term.
Well, I sympathize with Joey and Jesse a little, because they are the sons, right? They are the sons of Dr. Bus.
And they must have had a conversation, Joe, with their father on it. But again, nothing was put pen to paper on it. So it is what it is.
We talked about this last night. Dr. Bus would never likely put down his own children. He was not that kind of man. But I think in the end, I think if you sat down with Dr. Bus, if he was still alive, I think he'd be smart enough to understand that the current landscape, the current culture of sports right now is completely different, even more so than it was even 10 years ago.
Well, he wanted to leave this business to his kids.
And that's admirable, and that's what I would do. However, Joey and Jesse, even if they did take over, we're not going to be able to compete in the current landscape of sports, especially in basketball. it just wouldn't have worked out. If your retort to me is, well, look at Oklahoma City, look at what they're doing. Okay, I still, I mean, I know it's the Clays that own Oklahoma City, of course, because I'm a basketball guy. I'm going to know that. But I don't know who they are. All I hear is Sam Presti. That's all I hear. And would you say, I'm going to ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that the current regime is able to make decisions without meddling?
Yeah. I mean, right now they have full faith. They have full faith in what Presti is doing. It's Presti's actual show. I mean, I
Oh,
understand the
no.
Lakers.
I'm sorry. I should have rephrased that.
Okay.
I know that the Clay Bennett is Bennett. Sorry, not Clays.
The Bennetts have
the
given.
Bennetts.
Yeah.
So I know they're not meddling. What I'm asking, what I should have been more clear. What I'm saying is the Lakers leadership meddling. They meddle.
Right now, apparently they did. We were wondering, was this the genie move with the Bus brothers? I'm assuming some of it is, because obviously the statement that they made to Shams Charania yesterday was a backhanded slap at a genie by, I think it was by Johnny Bus yesterday, or Jesse Bus yesterday. Jesse Bus, that was a backhanded slap at his sister. But I mean, with the move that they made today, with the announcement of these two advisors coming in, that tells you clearly that Genie has, in accordance with what Mark Walters wants to do, they're working hand in hand. Those two are working hand in hand. Genie looks like, again, with the sale, that she probably has solidified herself as governor for quite some time, but no move is going to, like you said, no move is going to be made without the blessing and control eventually of what Mark Walters is doing. It's clear, because they're bringing in that Dodger influence, like you had talked about, and they're bringing it in, and you're going to see that Dodger blueprint come into play. The question is, though, since the structure of how you deal with basketball, because of the CBA and the salary cap being different than what it takes place in Major League Baseball, plus the fact that teams like OKC, San Antonio, Houston, because of the sheer assets they have and the young players that they have a little bit of an advantage already coming out of the gate. How long will it take before the Lakers can truly get to a point where they can dominate the roadmap with Luka Doncic? That's the only question I have, because I don't see as clear of a picture as I did for the Dodgers based off of what parameters you have currently in the NBA.
So if you look at it's going to be a different structure, obviously, due to the sports being different in terms of assets needed. NBA is easier to acquire talent that matters, because that one talent holds so much water for a team to win. It's not Tommy Edman winning NLCS MVP. It's not Will Smith hitting clutch shots. It's not Max Muncy hitting clutch shots. That stuff typically doesn't happen in abundance from several different areas, or Klein pitching 4 innings. Like in basketball, you do have some clutch role players here and there, but it's not 6-7 guys sometimes in a playoff run or during the year. So it's going to be much easier to kind of manage a team that's got 5 players on the court. Okay, if we already have Luka Doncic, we have a couple really, really good role players, and a couple of role players that maybe they might decide to keep if they continue to improve. Now you got to go get that second star to play with Luka. So that's kind of really where I'm looking at this. And I don't have any doubt that once the Lakers have money, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be interested in coming to LA, especially when it comes to this management and this ownership and leadership. People are going to want to play for the Lakers, especially with max money, especially with the chance to win. So with that, my focus as a fan is I don't want to listen to Harry high school drama garbage anymore. That's where the disdain comes from. I'm over it. We dealt with it with the Frank McCourt era before, thank God, the Guggenheims bought the team. Now, Jeannie Buss, Johnny Buss, Huey Buss, small bus, short bus, whatever the hell it is, get out. Go. Take your $1 billion and go. However, I will commend Joey and
Actually, it's
Jesse.
about 900 million to be exact, is what
I I am saying this because it has to be said. It makes sense for me because it's something that I actually admire. These guys had $900 million staring at them and they still voted no. That goes to show you that these guys loved what they were doing and wanted to continue to do it. So I want to commend Joey and Jesse for not looking at money as the only solution here. So with that, it is what it is. I think in the long run, it doesn't matter even if they had the chance or had the votes or were going to take over the team. They do not have the resources to do what needs to be done in today's sports landscape, especially in the NBA right now. It's just that simple. So I hope they find something good in their future. I hope they find something good. I have a little bit more respect for those two than I do anybody else in that family. So
I'm just going to say this, Joe. Let me just say this. I said it in the chat, but I should have said last night, but it hit me now. Has anybody seen the Thanksgiving episode where Jamie Lee Curtis and just that whole episode of The Bear, all these famous stars getting together, playing a dysfunctional family, fist fights, didn't a car crash through the window? Just a whole bunch of stuff happening. I can imagine that being the Buss family Thanksgiving next week. So you got to see it, guys. Got to see it. It's one of the best.
It's comedy when it's fake drama. Mm-hmm. That's what makes movies good and TV series good. I went down this rabbit hole with, you click on a couple things every now and then, and all of a sudden now they keep sending you the same stuff. So I'm still in this rabbit hole of certain cuts from Friends, the series Friends, and it's probably the most popular sitcom probably ever, right? I mean, that's the show, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there watching these. I'm sitting here watching the show, and I know it's it's for drama, it's for people to laugh, but I mean you couldn't find three bigger dinks than Chandler, Ross, and Joey, right? Like these guys can't seem to know how to do anything, right? And then the women are, except for maybe the Phoebe character, Phoebe, the other two are a disaster, and they're the hottest chicks on TV at that point, right? So I don't know. I just the aura of BS. Like, is it really that hard to please beautiful women? And why are these women complaining about things? Like, it's like that's what this is. That's what these people are. But this is real life, and it's affected the team. Hell, even the show that was exaggerated, although I don't know, the longer I've heard, the longer it's been gone, the more I hear it wasn't that exaggerated. We couldn't even get a chance to see a little bit of reenactment of what was going on. Not longer than 17 episodes, unfortunately. The Winning Time should have been a show that should have continued. But no, we got to see the real life one. We got to see the real bus issue stuff. No, I would have rather seen the whole thing and enjoyed that instead of watching
sure
these two
about 10
schleps.
Years, we'll see it again in a drama form.
I really hope so. I mean, the casting in that movie with that show was so good. They really, really wasted an opportunity to have a 3-4 season show where it would have been dynamite. But anyways, I'm there. This is where my mind is. I know it seems kind of disconcerting and mean and all that, but it is what it is, guys. I'm ready to get away from this. I'm ready for adults to start running this thing. I got to get back to some of the comments. I said I was going to get into the comments, and then I stopped.
No worries. Go for it, my friend.
Walter need to fire Robin Ramses. All in due time, Gregory. All in due time. Welcome, by the way. Joe, please tell us how good is Friedman. I mean, let's talk about that for a second. How good is Andrew Friedman? Well, he's won. He's captained with his crew of Stan Kasten, Mark Walter, and Dave Roberts. They have all been captains, lieutenants, sergeants in the beginnings of a dynasty. I know it's a dynasty now for many, but I really think next year, if they win it, it's official. Would you say that, Gerald?
Yeah.
It's got to be I mean, you can't deny a three-peat, but at the same time, it'd be 4 and 7 years. That's even if they had won in, let's say, 2022 and then went back to back, it still would be a dynasty. But a three-peat, a three-peat in an era where some of these wins have been in 4 playoff series. Remember, guys, baseball wasn't always this long. Baseball used to be you win the pennant and then you go to the World Series. That was the first half of the existence of baseball, maybe a little bit more. Then it became just the championship series, and then not until 1995. So think about that for a second, guys. I'm going to base this off of when the World Series started instead of before the 1900s, right? Because Major League Baseball has been around since before, since the 19th century. But the World Series has been since 1903. So since 1903 until 1995, that's 92 years. You didn't have a wild card. You either had direct pennant-winning teams go to the World Series, or they created the championship series where the 2 division winners meet in the league championship, NL, AL, and then go to the World Series. The Dodgers are winning World Series. They've won 2 of their last 3 World Series playing 4 rounds. And you know how baseball is. A 2-game series can be scary. That's a scary series. I wasn't scared when they played Cincinnati this year, but what if something happens? What if what happened to Ohtani in Game 2 in the World Series last year had happened in Game 1 in the Cincinnati series? Baseball is very emotional, very mental. That could throw them off enough to get bounced by the freaking Reds. Who knows? If something like that would have happened, who knew, right? Who knows? So put anybody who comes back at you and tells you, again, every asshole out there who doesn't like what's going on is going to find every excuse to discredit a championship. It's been going on for a long time. It's been going on for a long time. It's not even something that recently happened with COVID or whatever. Ray Allen for the longest time. The Ray Allen 3 apparently didn't justify the championship for LeBron in 2013. As if Ray Allen is the only role player, quote unquote, that's hit a amazing shot with great players. Did these assholes forget about John Paxson? How many of those shots he made in 1991 for Michael Jordan? Do you all forget what Ron Artest did for Kobe, Paul Gasol, Robert Horry, Derek Fisher? I mean, some of these, these people are the ones that distract you from logic. You got to make sure if they come at you, it's one thing, but you got to ignore this garbage. There's always going to be an excuse. Oh, they're spending too much money. Before it was spending too much money, it was they were choking. So which one is it? You can't have both. You can't have both. So to answer how good is Andrew Friedman, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to be very curious on if Andrew Friedman and Mark Walter go for the jugular here, especially if there's a true threat of a lockout. Now, is there going to be a lockout, Gerald? Is baseball really going to risk?
My guess is yes.
Are they really going to risk missing out on 51 million people watching the World Series? 51. When was the last time the World Series had 51 million people watching it? Oh, I know. I remember when it was close. It was the 2017 World Series. So, yeah, good for baseball, I would say. Not bad for baseball. And we've talked about this several times about fans' assumptions. Oh, I haven't watched basketball in years. Yet every time I see that quote, someone is commenting on a basketball article. Well, if you don't give a shit about basketball, why are you commenting on a basketball article? You all think you're not involved, but you are, especially with some of you who are gambling and some of you who are constantly yapping about how nothing is legitimate. If nothing is legitimate, then what's legitimate then? What has to happen? Do you have to be the Tampa Bay Rays to win it all so that it could be legitimate? It's always the ref's fault. It's always the ump's fault. It's always this person's fault. It's always, oh, they got more money. It's always something, right? It's always an excuse. But Andrew Friedman, I would say, if he goes for the jugular, if the team goes for the jugular, then there's a good sign that they're going to go out with a bang here, just in case they miss out on a year of baseball, which I have zero feeling that that's going to happen. If there is a work stoppage, it's not going to be all year. They cannot risk that. But at the same time, Gerald, the players are not going to accept a salary cap.
That's what I'm saying.
Very clear.
It's all about greed, my friend. It's all about greed. That's why I would, if you ask me whether it's the WNBA, MLB, NBA, doesn't matter, common sense or something that says, you know what, let's meet you halfway. Sometimes that doesn't always work out. I mean, I will always bet on there being a strike because, if there's hard feelings, anything said between owners and players, organizations, as far as players organization, the players union or the owners, if that gets really nasty like it is in the WNBA, no matter what offer, because the WNBA already made an offer, I don't know if that was going to be accepted. It just doesn't seem like it's been universally praised as far as the current offer right now, even though it seems like a sensible offer. They want more, and so I'm going to side with a lockout every single time. I'm not going to the case, but I'm going to bet on the lockout.
Yeah, I'm not going to really.
Which would play into the Dodgers' hands.
I can't. Speaking of the WNBA, I can't take any league seriously that's still being subsidized by someone else. So if that deal doesn't include self-sufficiency, then I don't even know what kind of gall a player has to say anything about anything when it comes to salaries. Seriously. You can't even sustain your own business, yet you want more money. Does that make any sense? So let me ask you this, Gerald. Let's say you are paying my rent for my business. You're paying the bills for my maintenance. You're paying the bills for my employees. And then I come back to you and say, I need more money. What are you going to say? What do you mean you need my money? I'm paying all your freaking bills. What do you mean? What are you talking about?
And with the WNBA, I mean, there are some teams that are self-sufficient and do make enough revenue, generate enough revenue. But for the most part, I don't believe I don't know any insights on it, but just as an observation, my guess is, like you said, most of these teams are not fully self-sufficient as of yet and are profitable businesses. But there are some in the league that are. I know the one here in Las Vegas, the Aces, they've actually done a pretty good job of sustaining themselves. But you're right, not every team is as lucky as the Aces or even the New York Liberty, or I don't know if the LA Sparks are still self-sufficient. I mean, at one time they were one of the hottest tickets in LA when they were really on a high note, but that was some time ago. I don't know what they are now. you would know more about the crowds there than I do, but I can tell you here in Las Vegas, they're one of the few success stories right now, which tells you all you need to know about who should really have the upper hand in these negotiations.
Be self-sufficient before you ask for more money. I can't think of a more entitled league in my life than the WNBA. It's an embarrassment to logic. It's an embarrassment to pride in yourself, to have the gall to ask for more money and you can't even sustain your own business. It's not just the Las Vegas Aces. It's not just the LA Sparks. You got a league here, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that people have these thoughts. And this is all because society has allowed this entitlement in so many areas. In so many areas. And not enough adults have told these grown-ass children to get your shit together, grow up, and realize common sense. You want more money? Make sure you handle your own shit first. Don't be a deadbeat dad telling me how to parent. I'm just using that as an example because that's what that is. That's a good analogy. Don't tell me how to do things when you can't even handle your own shit. And that's a lot of the reasons why I have done things on my own, because most of the people that are usually telling you what to do are stupid. Not because I don't want to listen to someone telling me what to do. If I have plenty of people in my life that I have immense respect for and never have gotten an argument with, and but I will be like, yes, sir, because they have earned that respect. They are credible. They have common sense. They are able. So don't sit there and cry about money that you think you're entitled to have when you can't even pay your own bills. Tell me something I need to know here if I'm wrong. By the way, for those of you who are listening for the first time, the reason why the show is called The Experiment is because sometimes we will dive in and experiment on other topics while we're talking about the stated topic. I wish Friedman can replace Rob, but he can't run the Dodgers. I'm like, Jay, we don't need that. There's plenty of talent out there to run basketball. And for example, just to remind everybody this, Stan Kasten ran the Atlanta Hawks in the late 80s. He was executive of the year 2 years in a row. And I want you guys to understand this because, the first thought you have is, well, it's the Atlanta Hawks. Guys, that was at the heyday of Dominique Wilkins, Doc Rivers, and those guys. The Atlanta Hawks had epic battles with the Boston Celtics during that time. That's how good the 80s was for basketball. That teams like the Atlanta Hawks, teams like the Dallas Mavericks, the Denver Nuggets, who had Alex English in Denver, had Rolando Blackman and Dominique in Atlanta. Like, these guys had stars on their team. And you don't really know about it because it was overshadowed by the Celtics, Lakers, and the Pistons. But those teams and those guys were really, really good. I didn't even mention Utah. In that. Utah took the Lakers to 7 games in '88 with Karl Malone and John Stockton and Mark Eaton. So the guy that's president of the Dodgers has experience in basketball. But with that, my guess is they're doing this to just ease the transition until they get the right people. Friedman has bigger fish to fry. Folks, the Dodgers have 8 more years of the Ohtani era.
Yeah, you really need Friedman to stay focused on Dodger baseball, to be quite honest with you. It's nice that he's being considered a confidant now for Rob Pelinka and all that, but I really think, the more he needs to focus on building a dynasty in the Dodgers, I think the better for him. I don't want this to be an excuse if the Dodgers don't win for some reason. You know what I'm saying? I really want Andrew Friedman to focus in on what he needs to do to get this team a three-peat.
And I think he is. Again, advisory with Varane being there, I think he's going to probably take more of that.
He is the liaison.
And that's fine. I don't. I'm not going to tell these guys what. Obviously, they know they've earned knowing exactly what to do in these situations. So who are we? The reason why it's a topic is because we're both. I'm a Laker and a Dodger fan, so it becomes that topic of discussion. What is really going to happen here? What's the next step? And as long as it doesn't affect anything, which I don't think it will, it is the process that has to happen, right? And what better way to bridge it than the guys that are successful, that are people that Stan Kasten and Mark Walter trust, to get them to transition. And that's it. I'm not taking it any other way other than they're there to be the liaisons. That's it. That's all it is. It sounds like more than what it is because it's news and it's Lakers and Dodgers and old owner, new owner. But other than that, I think it's a pretty simple process. I don't think there's anything crazy going on. Those actually, I should go back to. Jay had a good question. Thoughts on the Thunder potentially getting the number 1 pick since Clippers are doing bad? Are we going to have to root for the Clippers? I don't think it matters at this point.
Because that's the only one that can get to number 1. They have another possible. Something. Well, they have 2 possible lottery picks, Joe. But the Jazz pick is only if it falls outside of the top 8, because it's top 8 protected off the Derek Favors trade from earlier this decade. So they only have 1 pick that could be number 1, according to what I'm seeing on reports there.
Basketball is not football. It's not as good as Cooper Flagg is. He's not going to be. He can possibly win Rookie of the Year. He can be effective. He can have value. But it's impossible usually for rookies and second-year players to impact deep winning for a basketball team in the NBA. The Oklahoma City Thunder have done everything right times 10. The question, though, with the current collective bargaining agreement is, what are they going to be willing to pay in penalties when this year is over? Because a lot of their contracts are going to go from teen millions to 40 million.
I think they're committed to that, Joe, at least with the foundational 3. And then again, it's the side players. It's the dressing. I mean, the main course of SGA, Holmgren, and Williams are all set. They're going to continue to pay those guys unless they fall off a cliff. It's the side dishes. It's the Caruso, the Hartensteins, the Dorts. They need to be replaced with AJ Mitchell's and other draft picks that come in that are extremely cheap. They sign them to ultra cheap first contracts, and then they come in and they play lights out like AJ Mitchell is right now. I mean, that's the thing, because Sam Presti keeps hitting more times than he doesn't. And that's the scary part, Joe, is they can reload real easily. And if they don't see something that is working, they can throw an abundance of picks and assets, young assets, to make it fix. That's the thing. They're in the best position possibly in sports with what they have now and what they have to build on going forward for any contingency. So that's why it scares, because you're counting on something as far as being a small market or whatnot. And I think that Sam Presti, being one of the best GMs in sports from what we've seen, been given the blueprint, has been given the clear slate to do whatever he wants, so that he can build for any contingency to be, not even if they're not an NBA title, winner, they're going to be in that conversation for years to come.
Yes, it is what it is, but you can only play 5 at a time, and
I mean, if SGA gets hurt, you're right. Do they have enough?
and
We'll
that's
have to wait and see.
and normally that discussion wouldn't be a hot topic, except the last almost half decade, injuries have dictated most of these championships, especially last year and the year before that. You have to play it out. At this point, you literally have to play it out. Otherwise, you can't really make an assessment. You can't say, oh, well, the Lakers are going to repeat in 01. Oh, they'll three-peat in 02. Oh, they're going to repeat in 2010. Oh, for sure, Golden State's going to repeat in 2018 with Durant there. Those days are gone. And it actually, ironically, started with 2019. Durant getting injured cost them a three-peat, and it cost them another title. Injuries cost the Lakers in 2021 a title, in my view. 2022, maybe the only year since then that didn't cost anyone a title in terms of an injury. 2023, Miami was cooked by the time they got to the finals. 2024, the Celtics went through every Eastern team without their number one player. And then they played a dead dog, tired, burnt out Kyrie Irving and a barely hanging on one leg Luka Doncic in the finals. So you're not getting healthy teams playing against each other these days. You almost had it with Indiana and Oklahoma City until Game 7. If Halliburton had just lasted one more game without tearing anything, it may have been a better ending. So we'll never know. But that's what's going on here. And we talked about this on LFB. Adam Silver needs to figure out a way to lessen travel. If you're not going to minimize games, lessen the travel. One of the things Phil Jackson said about the 72-10 Bulls championship team in 96, he said travel that year with the combination of Chicago being more middle of the country, didn't have to travel as much that year. Everything was pretty close because they couldn't. Reinsdorf and that crew were like, hey, man, are we winning too many games? Are we focusing too much on this? Are we going to burn out by the end of the year? That's what they were asking. But apparently they forgot that Michael Jordan's on that team, and that man does not rest for anyone. So, and the fact that they were fortunate in terms of how the travel worked out that year, and obviously the motivation too. So my thing is, the NBA needs to fundamentally change their scheduling, in my view. If this indeed is a chronic issue that's not geared towards the fact that these guys are a bunch of daisies. I veer towards the latter, but that's me, right? But no one's going to listen to me. So, okay, I'll placate your stupid problem. $50 million so that you can only play 2 times a week instead of 4. Is that it? Okay, fine. How about we do this? How about get rid of this stupid-ass freaking NBA Cup? Get rid of the play-in for the love of God. You don't increase more games when you're trying to protect your players. How about you do this? Make it more regional. Make sure those back-to-back games, if it's not all of them, but the majority of them are in the same city. Make it happen. They used to play 6 times in the 80s. The same team. So it's not like this hadn't been done before. So imagine 2 less games outside of the state. Instead, you're playing the intra-city team, or at least some team that's right next to you in terms of like a Phoenix for LA or Sacramento or Golden State. Figure it out. Figure it out. That's what that's why you signed a $76 billion TV deal. Figure it out. Let's see here. Those Nuggets just beat the Rockets, but both teams are tough matchups for the Lakers.
Yes, they
Yeah,
are. Yes, they are.
they are, but it's too early. I don't know who's going to blow their wad first. I have a feeling that somebody's going to blow their wad here, whether it's the Rockets or whether it's Denver. Because you know why, guys? Because it's happened before. I have to wait. We have to wait. We have to wait.
60. Yeah, you're right. 67 games left in the season. So.
Drip Show. I want to thank Drip Show again. Drip Show worked on my wallpaper, and he's obviously worked on your pillows.
Yes.
And Drip Show is part of my
and my canvas art behind me. But he was asking you for if he could help send some more stuff to you for your studio.
Well, Drip, anything you send my way, I mean, at this point, I'm probably going to have to send you all my stuff now at this point. I'm feeling kind of bad now, but you are more than welcome to send me whatever you want. I am going to start showing all your stuff out. I mean, I've been seeing some of these videos on Instagram where people are making basically dissertations for them. I think it might be time that I can do it. And again, I'm planning on putting stuff Drip here and there so that you can see it at all times as well. But again, Drip Show is part of the sponsored the Drip Show. For those of you who want beautiful original art with our favorite athletes and our favorite teams, go to Instagram, put in Drip Show. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. He is class, he is talented, and he is as good as anybody I've ever seen when it comes to this kind of stuff. I believe me when I say that. Thank you very much, Chris. Again, his name is Chris, so I always call people by their names. Lakers bada B, Dodgers of basketball. It's funny you say it that way, Jay. The Dodgers are now becoming the Lakers of baseball. Who repeats more than the Lakers, right? Like there was a time there when you think about, because I consider, Gerald, I don't know if you consider this, I consider a repeat, right? So if you three-peat, you've repeated twice, right?
Yes.
So the Lakers in their history, because the Celtics have repeated, what is it, seven times, and then they lost to the Hawks. I think it was the second year. What was it? 68, 69. Okay, so they repeated 8 times during the Bill Russell era of 11 out of 13. Try to stay with me on this. Now, what did I say? 8 times?
Yes.
Okay, good. Remember that. They never repeated after that. They won a title in 74. They won a title in 76, 86, 81, 84, and then they won one in 08 and 2024. So that's the Celtics era or Celtics time, the winning championships. The Lakers three-peated when they were in Minneapolis from 49, 50. They repeated in 50 when they won in 49. So that's one. Then they three-peated in 52, 53, and 54. Repeated 2 more there. So that's 3. Then repeated in 88. That's 4. Repeated in 01 and 02. That's, what is that now? 6?
Yes.
Repeated in 10, 7. So they're one more repeat from Ty and the Celtics in repeat titles. The Lakers and the Celtics have more repeat titles than some teams have, than an entire division have in titles. And again, the Dodgers, this is the first repeat in their illustrious history. So the Dodgers are actually being the Lakers of baseball now. Remember that. You can always tell by the guys that forget that. The Lakers bringing back 80s vibes. Ooh. I don't know, Gerald. What do you think? You remember the 80s, right?
Yes, I remember the 80s. That was different. I really think that was a different time, a different period. Those who lived through it like I did and were not kids then, because I was already a teenager by that time for most of it. I don't think so. I think that each period brings a different era. It brings something new because of the way the world is. And the people in the 80s acted differently than they do now. So I'm going to say no. It does. If let's say they do win 5 in the next 10 years, Joe, that still wouldn't, bring back the 80s vibes of the Showtime era. That was completely different because the fact, it just, that's when the Laker mystique really started to grow, Joe. I mean, you had, of course, like I said, the fast breaking excitement. Then you had the party life afterwards with the Forum Club and all that, and then you had the celebrities coming in there, just starting to make it famous and worldwide on that. Now it's just like, okay, everybody just does it just because it's not the same 40 years later than what it was then. So no, I'm going to say no.
Well, if you want to factor in
It's not any less enjoyable if they win 5 and 10 years, Joe, but I'm just saying it's different because we're different as a species.
in terms of the actual, just not venturing on into the outside sport part of this, because I can get into that and tell you why that's not as good as it used to be, because it's just a bunch of jerk offs judging people left and right for anything they do, and that's why people don't do things anymore. But anyways, there'll never be a match of the 80s, because especially when it comes to the Lakers, you're not going to ever have Magic Johnson orchestrating the greatest show on a basketball court. And Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player that ever lived, but no one entertained, in my view, and I don't think anyone ever will entertain as well as Magic Johnson did. Magic Johnson was arguably the greatest of his time, and there was some talk after he'd retired that he was the greatest of all time at that point, before Michael did his thing. I remember that. I was a part of that.
Yes, there was that conversation, but
and
that ended very quickly, Joe.
Right. But Magic was and is the greatest athlete in a team sport, in my view, because he created an atmosphere that made you feel in a way that I don't think you're ever going to get that kind of feel from an athlete again. Now, I'm noticing that there's a similarity to that with Shohei Ohtani. And that's what makes this whole thing with the Dodgers and baseball more interesting, is when was the last time you saw the best player in baseball being the perennial winner and on the biggest stage all the time? I asked this question in a few shows ago. Think about that for a second. It doesn't happen in baseball. It doesn't happen very often. Even with Albert Pujols being as great as he was in the 2010s, won a championship in 06, won a championship in 2011. That's pretty close. Barry Bonds rarely was on the biggest stage in a consistent basis. Same thing with Ken Griffey Jr. Who else in the 80s? Who was considered the best player in the 80s? No one really knows. There really wasn't anyone.
It's either Bird or Magic. People start with Bird, they go to Magic.
Yeah, it's different. And this is how you also want to convey this to your detractors. How we're in year 2 of year 2. And Ohtani is the best player on the planet in his sport, and he is being showcased on the highest stage in baseball. And not only is he doing that, he is providing things that are mind-boggling. God, 10 strikeouts and 3 home runs in the same game. 2 home runs, 2 doubles in a World Series game, at game 3. Game 3 tips that series usually 70% in your favor when you win it. He went on base 9 times. 5 of those were walks. 4 were intentional. From fear. And I can break down all the games where he didn't hit well, but still affected the game. It is the box score watchers, the numbskulls, are very easily destroyed if you know your shit. Where's that clown that was on the show? Remember when I called him out? He went away. He didn't come back. What happened? Because when you call people out, and again, guys, I prefer to do business face to face. I don't like calling people out on emails, on text messages, on social media posts, even though I do talk some smack. It doesn't really do much for me. I prefer to look at you in your face, but it's a very rare occurrence. The key here is we're witnessing something that doesn't happen, not only talent-wise, but results-wise too. And Magic Johnson in the 80s created an atmosphere that will never be matched because the competition, in my research and viewing, can never be matched because there's too many teams now. The game has changed too much. Guys are making too much money. The focus is too much on brand. It's not focused on playing. I had mentioned the Denver Nuggets, the Dallas Mavericks, the Atlanta Hawks, the Utah Jazz during that era. Hell, the Philadelphia 76ers are a forgotten team in the 80s sometimes, even though they won in 83. That's how good Magic and Bird were. So when you talk and say, Bird and Magic, that Steph Curry, this, I'm like, you guys are so ignorantly stupid. You have no idea what you're talking about, but you act like you do. And that's something I've told family members, friends, when I catch them yapping. I'm like, why are you saying that? You act like you know what you're talking about, but you don't. Tell me where you came up with that assessment. I want to know where it came from. What's the substance behind it? Because the results are the only thing I look at. You tell me that the Dodgers are killing baseball? You're telling me Steph Curry's a better point guard than Magic? But when I look at the results of Magic's career versus Steph's, when I look at 51 million people watching the World Series, whose information is correct? So, people live in fantasy land, and that's fine. I enjoy Star Wars too. I like Lord of the Rings. Hell, I even like Harry Potter. Harry Potter was too good a movie all the way through to not enjoy it, even though I'm not into it. I'm not into elves and wizardry and wizards. That's not my thing. I don't go. It's not my. I don't really get anything out of that. But when something is great and it's done well, you're gonna enjoy it. Hell, I hate country music, but there's a few that come in out of nowhere sometimes, and doesn't have a bad beat. But overall, it's trash to me. So the button on this kind of veered off a little bit, but the button on this is the 80s will never be replicated. It can't, because the setup is different. It's just different. It can't. They're going to make more money now. That's about it. Inflation is there. Yet that's about it. That's the only thing that's better at this point, obviously, because if you ask Magic, Bird, and all those guys, hey, imagine making 50, 60, 70 million dollars, right? They'd be like, yeah, it's better now than it was then. Other than the money, nothing is better from the 80s. The 80s was, in my view, the peak in terms of talent at its peak. and that's where that's where I stand on that. Agreed. Chemistry is coming together so quickly. I guess that's winning. Yes, sir. Just watched the Rockets Nuggets game. Man, those two, yeah, they are good. I mean, Oklahoma City Nuggets, Rockets, and Lakers right now are kind of they're focused. And
Lakers just moved into third place with a tie with San Antonio, so they're third place because the Houston lost tonight.
mm-hmm. Drip Show would love to send some canvases. Oh, that's the one that you told me about. Thanks, Drip.
Yeah.
Again, anything you want to send my way, I will promote the hell out of it. Thank you so much. If OKC gets another one pick, because we're gonna have to wait and see on that one, guys. Great show last night. Thanks, Stuff. Appreciate it. Let's see. Loved Rojas' reaction to the painting on ESPN. I haven't seen that mission. I got to go see that. Jeannie could AF to her brothers. Oh, Jeannie cold as F to her brothers. Well, I'm not going to get in the middle of a family squabble, but have you seen her brothers? I'm talking about the older ones, not Jesse and Joey.
Well, they had a parting, and it's clear she's not playing well with her either full brothers or half brothers. So it's a family thing. Like I said, to me, it reminds me of the Bear, the Thanksgiving episode. So, and I'll leave it at that.
Again, celebrating the misery of your family only enhances the deterioration of the family unit.
And don't feel too bad for them, Joe. They just got a check for $900 million. I think they're good.
They're not good. Money doesn't solve everything.
They're good.
Are we sure this was LeBron's last year in the Laker uniform? Yes, unless they win it all.
No. I'm not sure of anything when it comes to LeBron.
As a Laker? No, this is the last year unless they win it all.
I'm not going to put it past the organization. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Just to leave what at that?
He might play one final year in Cleveland. Might stay in LA. Who knows? But
just because you love something doesn't mean you're meant for it. So that's a good example, Mission. I love playing football. I love football, but couldn't make it to the NFL. It wasn't meant to make it in the NFL. Dodgers about to restore Laker glory. That's a good one, Aaron. The Bear was awesome. I haven't watched that show.
First two seasons are good. Third season's not so good. So.
What's the Celtics' future? Steve, what's up? Steve is an old friend, kind of like my little brother too.
Yeah.
What's the Celtics' future looking like?
I was telling him expensive, because you're talking about the Oklahoma City. Look at the bar tab that I put below in the next two comments, Joe, about what the Celtics will owe their core three: White, Brown, and Tatum over the next year, and then at the end of their contracts. It's the next two comments.
I'm gonna say, Steve, the reality of the Celtics is they're gonna trade. I feel they're gonna trade Jaylen Brown.
That would be my guess.
Yeah, I think Tatum's gonna stay, although the injury might veer them towards the healthier one, maybe. But I still think Jason Tatum is a better player than Brown. Not by a lot, but still better. I think the brother's statement was true or just a disgruntled employee. I'm going to keep it at they didn't want to sell. They wanted to keep running the team, and
they voted. They voted, and they clearly stated that their father had told him it was the intention to keep it in the family, and with the brothers, the youngest brothers, going forward. That was the intention of the statement that was made. But again, since nothing was put pen to paper, Jeannie ultimately, as the governor, decided that she wanted a different course for what ultimately would be the outcome. So again, it doesn't matter the conversation they had with their dad. It ultimately, didn't work out on paper when nothing was legal behind it, and she was able to sell the team. And again, they can take it to court all they want, and it can get nasty all they want. But hey, it's already been proved, already been ratified, and it's a done deal at this point. I'm just, again, the timing of it is not the greatest because the college basketball season has already begun. But Joe, before you get into it, and before I head on out, because the game's almost over, and I got to go ahead and fight the traffic for that's there near Formula One. I did want to mention Stone Hansen should be sending in an application. This is his dream opening. I know he shut down his social media for a while because he wanted to take a break, but if you have a way to get a hold of him, you should really encourage him because he listens to you. You should really encourage him to try to send his application in right now.
I'll hit him
That
up.
would be dream.
I'll hit
That
him
would
up.
be a dream for him.
I'll hit him up in the morning.
You should. That would be awesome, man. If he were to, even to get an entry level scouting position like Rafael Barlow, who before you was on several shows. We did the 2020 playoffs together. He is now a scout for the Dallas Mavericks, over in Europe. So having the time of his life, and now because he was doing that freelance for years, and now he's getting paid for it by the Dallas Mavericks. So if Stone Hansen could get something like that here in the States, I
will call him in the morning.
Yeah,
I was wondering where the hell he was.
He announced his break from social media for a while because he's got a lot of stuff on his plate, he said. So
okay, no problem. You gonna head out?
I am gonna head out. UNLV is winning 31-10, brah. So brother, I'm gonna head out.
Brother. Have a good day. Drive safe. We'll see you tomorrow.
Actually, you will not. You will see the Lakerholics tomorrow. You'll see me and you on Sunday.
Well, we're on a group chat, so I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Well, there you go. But it's not the same, and you know why it's not the same because there's no Australians arguing now.
Well, there hasn't been a lot today. Vari said something.
You notice how quiet it is there?
Vari said something crazy today, and I was like, "What the hell is going on? What the fuck?"
Yeah. He's trying to find. He has to find somebody to fight with, Joe. You don't get it. He needs somebody to fight with.
I think he just got excited, and I was just asking, like, "What? What happened?" But it was all in good fun. It was a good discussion. But yeah, drive safe. We'll see you Sunday.
See you Sunday, everyone. Again, watch the Lakerholics tomorrow 11 on the LFB. But we'll see you Sunday as well. Shaka bra, my friend. Shaka bra.
Bye-bye. So back to your comments. If three-peats are what it takes to be a dynasty, there's only been a handful ever in all sports. So in recent history, we've had, what have we had? We've had the Lakers. We've had, most recently, the Lakers. Almost had one with the Chiefs last year. Unfortunately, they got blown out in the Super Bowl. We talked about 2019. Golden State almost did it. It was basically, in the last 35 years, it's the Bulls twice and the Lakers once. So I always, in my mind, because I grew up when the Steelers had 4, the Niners had 4 for a minute there, then they were 5, but that was, the 5th one was kind of spread out. So 4 was always the number in my head. So this is why. So the Steelers won 4 in 6 years. They won in 74, 75, 78, and 79. Then in the 80s, when I started obviously to understand and getting older, the Niners won in 81, 84, 88, and 89. So 4 was always the number in my head. And then, the Islanders won 4 in a row in 80, 81, 82, 83. And then before then, it was the Canadians. But I wasn't paying attention to the 70s hockey stuff, right? So, yeah. 4 in 7 years is a dynasty. Official. In my view, that's official. The Dodgers are a dynasty right now, probably because of the level of difficulty in baseball and the fact that you got to go through 3 or 4 rounds to win it all now, as opposed to just getting to the NLCS or ALCS to win a World Series. So I don't know. I don't think it matters because I don't see during the Ohtani decade, he's already won 2 in 2 years. I would be in shock if they don't win 6 in 10 years with Ohtani. I would be shocked. 5 even. 5 would be enough. But I actually would be shocked if they didn't win 6. So imagine if they win 4 more, right? 4 more championships during the Otani decade, the Otani era, the Otani dynasty. Now you're looking at a team between now and 3033, or is it 3032? 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 33. So from 2020 to 2033, if they win 4 more championships, that means they will have won 7 in 14 seasons. That is ultra dynasty. Ultra dynasty. 7 in 14 years. We're going to be here for that. Hopefully, God willing. Get the best guys to the Dodgers and destroy everybody to the pre-peat. And that's the other thing, Aaron, is I'm thinking, why not, if there is going to be a lockout, let's just say there is going to be one, because I'm still not sure if there is going to be one. There's a lot of hoopla. A lot of times when things are too loud, I'm like, is it really going to happen? But anyways, let's say it does happen. Go all in. Really stick it to everybody. Okay, well, you guys want to lock us out? We're going to go get Williams. We're going to go get Fairbanks. We're going to go get Quan. We're going to go get Tucker. We're going to get everybody. And we're going to go all in 2026, win the shit, 140 wins to win it all. Screw everybody. And then you can lock us out for a year. Guess what? We'll come back in 2028, whoop your ass anyways. That's how I look. That's how I would do it. But that's me. Yeah, it's a boneheaded. It would be a boneheaded thing, but these guys don't get along, man. They never have. Fans will start discrediting the ABS robot umpiring too. Yeah. I'm so ready for that, by the way. Let's see here. Where are we? Who runs the Lakers scouting department now? Please don't let it be Rob, Joe, and G. I think they're putting that together there, JY. That's the whole point of firing Joey and Jesse and all of the scouting department that was there, is so that they can start putting in their guys in there. So I don't think anybody's in there yet. They're gonna start assembling that. Is my assumption. Clippers sold their soul to Kawhi and paid the price. And I'm going to keep reiterating that Kawhi Leonard really turned out to be a buffoon. Number one, doing what he did in San Antonio, how he got out of there, made up for it a little bit because he ended up winning a championship in Toronto, but then not coming to the Lakers. Imagine if he had just not listened to his stupid ass uncle and gone to the Lakers. I have full confidence that the Lakers probably three-peat in 2021 and 2022. Why? Because Kawhi would have lessened a lot of the load for both LeBron and AD would have done the same for Kawhi, and LeBron would have done the same thing to Kawhi. They would have it would have been that extra star that relieved the two. It would have been, instead of 50-50, it would have been 33 and a third for each guy. And I have full confidence that had that happened, I don't think AD would have gotten as much mileage in 2020, and he wouldn't have popped the tire at the end there in 2021. I really believe that. I really believe a lot of the pressure would have been off of each guy, and they would have, at the very least, won in 2022. That's for sure. They would have won in 2022. They wouldn't have traded for Russell Westbrook. They would have played a weak Boston team. And I thought Golden State played well during that run, but I thought 2022 was pretty weak. I think it was like the last residual of the COVID teams, and they were able to squeak one in because of their they kind of reminded me of the 2020 Alabama Crimson Tide team, where things were so out of whack that year. The only ones that were sustained were the ones that had already been together, won together, and they kind of didn't have to deal with the stresses of certain things because they were already hardened enough. So that's a what if discussion down the road. Maybe the NBA TV can make a show on it, because I think it'd be kind of fun to watch and see what could have been. Let's see. Try to get to some of your guys' comments here. Sorry, guys. Got to catch up here. The Lakers have been half-court teams since the Showtime era stopped. Why, Joe? Well, that if you look at 1996, let's say, they weren't really a half-court team between 1991. I mean, I guess the Lakers were a half-court team really until in 1987. If you really look back, they did run, but they really ran after Magic took over as the number one option in 1987, and then they went apeshit like all the time. Ended up winning 2 more championships with that. So it's kind of hard to not be a half-court team when you had Shaq for 8 of those years, and then you had uh, the second stint of championships with Kobe. You had Bynum as a starting center. You had Gasol as a starting power forward and a center. So that's just how the game was played, half court. And when the playoffs would come, half court would dominate because that's slowing down and taking each possession as what it is. And that was very, very effective for Laker championship runs. So that's just how it is. But in 2020, the fast break did help them win that year. But they also still had AD down on the block, and they could throw the ball to him, and he can do his business. So the one time I guess he played consistently as a power forward, who would have thunk it, right? Us Laker fans want fast-paced Showtime, not half court. I wanted that with the young team now without LeBron running a lot. LeBron hopefully on the bench. I think they should be running more because I think they can get easier baskets and not have to worry about ground and pound as much. I think that would. I feel like if you're young and you guys are spry enough to get going, and the game is already back and forth with 3-point shots, then might as well embrace it and go all the way with it. Lakers are transitioning to a multi-billion-dollar organization. So they're already a multi-billion-dollar organization. The only thing is the difference between the billions that they were worth now is that now they've got Guggenheim money that's worth 340 billion in money they can tap into. So it's just more billions. Now, my hope is that because again, I trust Mark Walter and his people more than I trust anybody, right? I'm looking forward to the announcement, hopefully, if this is something that's on the table, of them taking over the property and the arena. That's something I would love for them to have, and possibly buy the LA Kings too. And they can own the arena, they can own the land, they can own both teams that play there. They own the Sparks, I believe, already, right? So I would love for that to be like an all-encompassing setup, and then I think that the surrounding area would benefit too. I think that's something that I've kind of leaned on since I've been apprehensive in going over there like I used to, because it's just not. It looks like it's been run down already. That said, that place should not be run down. There's a Ritz Carlton, for God's sakes, right across the street. How can that area be run down? That should be New York City prime Times Square kind of feel when you're there, and they don't have that feel there, and they need to make it again. And they need to make it feel like that. James Woody could barely dribble, but didn't need to reaping passes from Magic. Well, when you could run like a deer and have a first step that's so fast that you don't even know where you're at as an opponent, you don't really need to dribble. How about the Rockets with Akeem? Yeah, good one, Tough. Those Rockets teams with Ralph Sampson and Akeem. They cost the Lakers. Well, not Akeem and Ralph. That was the second time in '86, but in '81, the Rockets beat the Lakers in '81 2-1 when the first round was the best of 3. So yeah, the Rockets. I'd say other than the Celtics in that decade. Matter of fact, the Rockets beat the Lakers more in that decade in a series than the Celtics did. More than the Detroit Pistons did. More than the Philadelphia Sixers did. Excellent, 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 Tough, for bringing that up. I did not register that till just now. What a perfect question to ask about the 80s Lakers, because the 80s Lakers, they won 5 championships in that decade. They're number one in the greatest era, most competitive era of NBA basketball. They're number one. Won 5 championships. Went to 8 finals in that decade, right? Who beat them more in a series than any team during that decade? Is anybody going to guess the Houston Rockets? I wouldn't have until just now, until I realized it. Great reminder on that, Tough. Thank you. Curry is great, but no magic. Well, first of all, when they call Curry a point guard, a point guard to me will always be the guy that orchestrates the offense and is a pass first player. He's the one that arranges. He's the maestro. Curry created his own position. He created his position. He's not a shooting guard and he's not a point guard. He's a HG. He's a hybrid guard. Amazing handles. The greatest shooter that's ever played basketball. He is a hybrid guard. I don't consider him a point guard. They should have just called him an HG. He's not a PG and he's not an SG. He's an HG. Swervo. Let's see. Joe, who do you think fits better on the Lakers? Keon Ellis or Chea on the Raptors? And do you think the Lakers are going to have to give someone up for them? Ooh. Well, since that Saka, you know what, is gone, there might be something there. That's a great question. I haven't even considered that. I haven't considered those guys as an option. Who would be best? That's a good question. That's a really good question. I guess if I had to pick, do I want to go with Keon? Man, I am stumped. You stumped me, man. I'd say looking at the salaries at the moment, I probably don't see the Raptors trading because the value at 8 million is, and I think his options at 8. Let me look at the payroll on this one here, but hold on one second. So we have Ochea is making 6.5 mil this year, and then there's a qualifying offer for almost 9 mil at the end of the year. Let's see. What is the likelihood of them trading him? They'd have to give up draft capital for either one. So with Keon, it's going to be hard for. Okay, here. I don't know if Sacramento is going to likely have a fire sale, but they're going to want capital. Is Keon worth a first-round pick? That's a question that you're going to have to ask yourself. I don't know. You'd have to say, do you need a shooting guard of his stature? Yeah, sure. Is Marcus Smart the guy that's going to be kind of the odd man out there? Because who's going to? I mean, are you going to have Austin in there? Would you have Keon in there? I'd say, ideally, in terms of position, I think Ochea is the guy you want. But he's outplayed his contract already. I don't know if that's a player that Toronto's going to want to let go. I don't see that. So we're going to have to let this play out. But Sacramento, Keon Ellis is I think a more likelihood of somebody that would get traded, but he's probably going to get packaged because I think they want to get rid of Sabonis, but then the Lakers don't really need a big right now, and Sabonis makes way too much money. So I don't. That was a hell of a question there, Tavon. Thank you. I gotta do a little more research on that. I'll get back to you on the next show for that one. But keep them coming. Keep those things coming. Luka owns the Clippers. Can wait until Emirates Cup game against the Clips. Doesn't Luka own everybody though? Have you noticed that? It's kind of like looking at Freddie Freeman's stats. I remember last year they kept showing stats of Freddie Freeman against the Yankees, the Mets, the whoever, and I'm like, oh, he owns the Mets. Oh, he owns the Yankees. Oh, he owns the Rays. I'm like, he owns everybody. Son, Joe is true GOAT. Thanks, son. I appreciate it, bud. Sorry for the tuning late, Joe. Hey, anytime, buddy. Anytime. Thoughts on Durant and the Rockets? Will Durant last? That's always my question. Will he last? Rockets beat the Lakers more, yes. I don't know. Joe, it's good seeing you on Saturday night. Yes, it's good seeing you too, my friend. Look at the roster on that 81 Houston team. Again, Magic being injured that year and the turmoil behind the coaching and all that, I think played a factor in that as well. Only Maestro is me or Lionel Messi. Ooh, good one. Mark is going to like hearing that. I need a Joe Soro on my team. Hey, man, we're out there. We're out there sometimes. Don't leave me Moses Malone, Tom Janovich on that Rocket 81 team, but Robert Reed killed them. A little before my time, but I have read that that's what happened. Let's see here. Tough. Well, I'm finally got caught up to you all, you guys, huh? Joe is the best analyst. You took my words, man. You took my words. So Moses Malone beat the Lakers twice. Yeah, Moses beat. So Moses was known as the guy that was Kareem's kryptonite because Moses was a beast. Kareem couldn't handle, at least what I heard, couldn't handle physicality, and Moses was able to do that without getting into foul trouble. So in 81, he beat Kareem. In 83, he murdered Kareem. Not literally, obviously, but he was a problem in 83. And it was at that time you started seeing some cracks in a player at that time who was playing in his 14th season, by the way. I think it was his 15th season, actually. Was it 14th? So he played 20 years, right? So 70. Oh, wait, yeah. His 14th season. At that time, 14 seasons like 20 seasons now. So it was kind of like, whoa, what's going on? It's kind of that time, right? And Moses is a little younger than Kareem. But it's a testament to Kareem's will and obviously his talent that he went through that, and then they lost a heartbreaker a year later to the Celtics in 7, and then came back and won Finals MVP in 85 after playing like a dud in Game 1 against the Celtics when they got blown out, and that was known as the what was it? The St. Valence, what was it? Let's see, it was a something massacre. Game 1, 1984 massacre. What is it called? The Memorial Day Massacre. Can't believe I didn't remember that. But then came back and the Lakers won 4 of the next 5 and beat the Celtics in Boston. In Boston. I have that DVD too of that series. It is. I watched it all a few years back. Man, it's crazy how different the game is and how still kind of a lot of stuff still kind of resonates to now in terms of how they ran plays and how they kind of look. It's just that they wore tight uniforms. A lot of these guys are still skinny like that. It's just they wear baggy stuff now compared to what it was. My Lambo got a flat. Sorry, I'm late. You drove it in the rain. Good for you, man. Moses Malone or DJ Benga? Definitely DJ Benga. All day. Oh, you're talking about basketball or taekwondo? Oh, I'm sorry. I think you meant taekwondo. So, for those of you who don't know, DJ Benga was like a, I don't know, like a 4 or 5 degree black belt in taekwondo. Very capable man. Very scary man too. I heard some stories behind the scenes about him. Um, schedule. I think we already have these. Thanks, God moderator. Thank you, Search, for pumping up the show. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. Gerald included into that, and of course our sponsor, Drip Show. Drip Show was kind enough to come on and give us some props, and also is going to be sending some more goodies our way. I'm going to start figuring out the design behind me so that we get a chance to see more of his work, so we can pump up his business, because his business is art, his business is genius, his business is good, and we are here to tell everyone about it. So I want to thank him. I want to thank Search for coming in. I want to thank Tough. I want to thank all my people, son, everyone that's been here for the last hour and almost 45 minutes. We had a pretty good crowd for a Friday night, and I figured it would be, because everybody's relaxed and getting ready probably to go have a little nightcap and go to bed, whatever. But again, thank you for being here tonight. We talked a little bit about everything. Obviously, subject being the Dodgers and the Lakers, which is what the subject line was for. If you guys have any questions, if you have anything that pops up after the show, please do not hesitate to hit me up on Instagram on the experiment, on the Joe Sora experiment. You can find me on there. Go ahead and follow me if you can. You can obviously also send some comments on the show on YouTube. Again, I'm pretty good at answering them pretty quick. So with that, thank you so much again for tuning in. Have a good morning, good afternoon, and a good evening. And until next time, I'll see you next time.